Hi there, and welcome to practice of lesson 30 from A Course in Miracles workbook for students. We start as usually we do by thanking the Holy Spirit for his guidance and for his infinite patience. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for presenting yourself through every brother and sister, through every being, and we thank you for presenting yourself through our dear brother Jesus. And the quote for today from A Course in Miracles is this one. It says, "Whatever is true is eternal and cannot change or be changed. Spirit is therefore unalterable because it is already perfect, but the mind can elect what it chooses to serve. The only limit put on its choice is that it cannot serve two masters." And that is the quote. Now, lesson 30. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. The idea for today is the springboard for vision. From this idea will the world open up before you, and you will look upon it and see in it what you have never seen before, nor will what you saw before be even faintly visible to you. Today we are trying to use a new kind of projection. We are not attempting to get rid of what we do not like by seeing it outside. Instead, we are trying to see in the world what is in our minds, and what we want to recognize is there. Thus, we are trying to join with what we see, rather than keeping it apart from us. That is the fundamental difference between vision and the way you see. Today's idea should be applied as often as possible throughout the day. Whenever you have a moment or so, repeat it to yourself slowly, looking about you and trying to realize that the idea applies to everything you do see now or could see now if it were within the range of your sight. Real vision is not limited to concepts such as near and far. To help you begin to get used to this idea, try to think of things beyond your present range as well as those you can actually see as you apply today's idea. Real vision is not only unlimited by space and distance, but it does not depend on the body's eyes at all. The mind is its only source. To aid in helping you to become more accustomed to this idea as well, devote several practice periods to applying today's idea with your eyes closed, using whatever subjects come to mind and looking within rather than without. Today's idea applies equally to both. And that's the end of lesson 30. And it says, the instructions are not that specific, so I think we should apply the past lessons instructions, for instance, that of doing 6 practice periods, 2-minute practice periods, and that of to apply the idea as often as possible, we can establish an hour, like every 30 minutes, every 20 minutes, every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes, wherever you feel like it. And you can set a timer, and when the timer gets to the hour, you reset the timer. And you look around you and you apply the idea, God is in everything I see because God is in my mind, and try to imagine the things that are not at the reach of your vision, and you apply the idea. And in this practice period with closed eyes, we're gonna do 2 minutes of practice, and you apply to whatever subjects come to mind. Subjects can be people, can be problems, can be unresolved situations, and you apply the idea, God is in this situation because God is in my mind. You think about someone and you say, God is in this person because God is in my mind. And that's it for the 2-minute practice period. And we're gonna start by looking around and saying the lesson. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. And we start to the count from 3 to 1. 3, 2, 1. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. Try to think of things that are not at the reach of your vision. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. Now we close our eyes and let a subject come to mind. God is in this because God is in my mind. God is in this situation because God is in my mind. God is in that situation because God is in my mind. God is in that situation because God is in my mind. And we finish our practice period. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. And for today, my recommendation is to follow past lessons. So we do 6 2-minute practice periods. Just before we go to bed, we remember to do our 2-minute practice period with closed eyes, applying it to every subject that comes to mind. And the short practice is as often as possible. So as often as possible, it can be every 10, 15, 20, or 30 minutes. You look around you and you apply, God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. And you try to amplify your range of vision to the things that you don't see. So you go beyond the walls. And you apply, God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. And that's it. That we should do as often as possible. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining Marisol, who is here in Zoom, and the ones who are watching in YouTube. We see each other tomorrow, and thank you so much for practicing and for following the Holy Spirit. Bye bye. Bye, Marisol.